I will present 1.0 introduction. Grand Central Enterprise Berhad and Sharilah Hotel, there's two companies operate in the hospitality, tourism, wellness industry in Malaysia. But this company not also in Malaysia, also success in operating abroad. These two companies have their own luxury hotel and resort that can attract people. These two companies focus on business, both an important role in Malaysia's hospitality ecosystem.
Today, I will present the liquidity ratio analysis for Grand Central Enterprise Berhad for the years 2023 and 2024. In this analysis include the current ratio, quick ratio, and net working capital. In 2023, current ratio was 30.09, and in 2024, it slightly decreased to 11.73. Although the decline, the ratio remains very high, showing the company is in a strong position to pay short-term debts. However, this may also means that the idle asset that club be better invested. Next, the quick ratio was 12.98 in 2023 and dropped slightly to 11.57 in 2024. This indicates the company has surplus liquid asset to cover short-term obligations without relying on inventory. The decrease is minimal and not too concern as liquidity remains strong. And last, net working capital. In 2023, net working capital was 45.8 million, and in 2024 it's decreased to 42.1 million. Despite the drop, the company still has a high level of its current asset, providing a healthy buffers for operations and short-term needs. So that concludes the liquidity ratio analysis for Grand Central Enterprise Berhad. Thank you.
Today I want to present my part is a activity ratio. The first one from the graph given for the 2022 is a 0.11, for 2023 is a 0.12. Based on this ratio tell us how efficiently the company used all of its assets to generate sales. In 2023, there was a small improvement, but the overall figure is still considered low. This could mean the company owns a lot of assets like building or equipment that are not being fully optimized to increase revenue. The second one is a receivable turnover. For the 2022 is a 20.89 times. For 2023 is a 22.80 times. This measures how quickly the company collects money from customers who work on credit. The increase in 2023 shows improved efficiency in credit management. Customers are paying more quickly and consistently. This helps maintain steady cash flow and reduce the risk of bad debts or delay payment. The third one is an average collection period. For 2022 is a 17 days and 2023 is a 16 days. This indicate how long on average it takes to collect payment from customer. A shorter collection period in 2023 means the company is receiving cash faster, which is positive sign for liquidity. Fast collection allow the company to reinvest that money back into the operation or reduce reliance on loan. The fourth point is inventory turnover. For the 2022, 4.53 times, and for 2023 is a 5.25 times. This ratio show how many times the company sold and replaced its inventory during the year. An increase means the company is managing its stock better, the goods are moving faster, and the less idle inventory sitting around. This reduces storage costs and the risk obstacle or expire product, especially for goods like food or seasonal items. The last one is a fixed asset turnover. This for 2022 is a 0.15 time, and 2023 is a 0.16. This ratio measures how effectively the company is using its fixed assets like a building, land or equipment to produce revenue. A slight increase shows some improvement is using those long-term investment. However, the number is still relatively low, which suggests there are room for better utilization of this asset to support sales growth. That's all from me. I will pass that through for another presenter.
My part is debit ratio, debit to equity ratio, and some interest earning ratio. Just the first thing I will talk about Grand Central. In 2023, Grand Central had a very low debit ratio of 6.23% and it dropped further to 4.15% in 2024. This shows that the company released very little on debit to finance its assets. To debit to equity ratio. For the Grand Central, for the debit to equity ratio, Grand Central also reduced its leverage from 69% in 2023 to 35% in 2034. This reflects a very conservative capital structure. Time interest earned ratio for the Grand Central value is not available because the company recorded a negative EBIT. This means it had no earnings to cover any interest payments, although it also had no interest expenses.
I will present ratio analysis for profitability ratio for Grand Central Enterprise Berhad. The company ROE was negative 3.38% and it declined further to negative 13.72% in 2034. This indicates that the company is making losses instead of generating return for its shareholders. Second, for the return on asset, ROE fell from negative 3.15% in 2023 to negative 13.06% in 2024. This means the company's ability to use its assets to generate income worsened significantly. Number 4, the operating profit margin improved from negative 29.61% in 2023 to negative 70.52 in 2024. Despite still being a loss position, this improvement suggests that the company may have managed to reduce some of its operating expenses.
I will present the liquidity ratio analysis for the Shangri-La Hotel for the year 2023 and 2024. This analysis includes the current ratio, quick ratio, and net working capital. First is current ratio. To calculate the current ratio, I take current assets and divide by current liabilities based on the 2024 annual report of Shangri-La Hotel. In 2023, the result is 0.69 times, and 2024, the result is 0.75 times. And this is the graph for the current ratio for 2023 and 2024. We can see that the current ratio increased every year. This shows that the company's ability to pay short-term debts using current assets has slightly improved from 2023 to 2024. Second is quick ratio. To calculate the quick ratio, I take current assets minus inventory, then divide by current liabilities. In 2023, the result is 0.68 times. In 2024, the result is 0.74 times. And this is the graph for the quick ratio for 2023 and 2024. We can also see that the quick ratio increased every year. The quick ratio shows the company's ability to pay short-term debts using only liquid assets, not including inventory. Net working capital. To calculate net working capital, I subtract current liabilities from current assets. In 2023, the current is negative 103,456,000 ringgit. In 2034, the result is negative 90,236,000 ringgit. And this is the graph for the net working capital for 2023 and 2034. We can see that the net working capital also increased every year. This means that in both years, the company had more current liabilities than current assets, but the situation was slightly better in 2034. Next, I will pass the presentation to Haziq to continue.
Okay, thank you for my partner. So we go to activity ratio Shangri-La Hotel. First, total asset turnover increased slightly from 0.39 in 2023 to 0.41 in 2024, indicating better efficiency in using total asset to generate revenue. So we go to the account receivable turnover increased from 33.32 in 2023 to 35.41 in 2024. This means that the company has improved in collecting debt from customer. The average collection period decreased from 10.96 days in 2023 to 10.31 days in 2024, indicating faster collecting of payment. For inventory turnover, we see an increase from 60.70 in 2023 to 63.64 in 2024. Last but not least, fixed asset turnover increased from 0.48 in 2023 to 0.52 in 2024, meaning that the company used its fixed assets such as building and equipment more effectively in generating sale. Let's see the graph below. In the graph, the blue bars represent the years 2023, while the orange bars represent 2024. It is clear that all the orange bar are higher, especially from inventory turnover and account receivable turnover, indicating a significant increase. That's all. We go to next part.
Now, I will present the debt ratio of Shangri-La Hotel Berhad for the year 2023 to 2024. First, the debt ratio increased from 38.3% in 2023 to 40.4% in 2024. This means that around 40% of the company assets are financed through liabilities, while this shows a moderate level reliance on debt. It is still within a manageable range and indicates a balanced capital structure. Second, the debt to equity ratio also increased from 61.9% to 67.8%. This shows that the company is relying more on borrowed fund compared to shareholder equity. Although this indicates a higher financial risk, it may also support business growth if the debt is managed wisely. Third, the time interest earned ratio improves from 3.82 times in 2023 to 4.53 times in 2024. This means the company earned more than 4 times its interest expense, showing that it has a strong ability to pay its debt obligation using the operation income. This reflects a healthy financial position in terms of debt servicing.
Now I'm going to present about profitability ratio for Shangri-La Hotel from 2023 and 2024. This analysis includes return on equity, return on asset, gross profit margin, operating profit margin, and net profit margin. First is return on equity. To calculate the return on equity, net income divide to total equity and multiply to 100 based on annual report company Shangri-La in 2024. In 2023, net income is RM16020 divided to RM794735 and multiply to 100 and produce 2.02%. In 2024, net income is RM29251 divided to RM779766 and multiply to 100 and it produce 3.75%. Return on equity is increased from 2.02% in 2023 to 3.75% in 2024. Indicate improved efficiency in generating profit from stakeholder equity. Next is return on asset. To calculate return on asset, net income divide to total asset and multiply to 100. In 2023, net income is RM16020 divide to RM1286851 and multiply to 100 and it produce 1.24%. In 2024, net income is RM29251 divide to 1308404 and multiply to 100 and it produce 2.24%. Return on asset showing improved use of company asset in generate net income. This suggests that the company has become more effective. Next is gross profit. To calculate gross profit is gross profit divided to sales and multiply to 100. In 2023, gross profit is RM287738 divided to 503756 and multiply to 100 and it produce 57.10%. In 2024, gross profit is RM308792 divided to 535303 and multiply to 100 and it produce 57.68.
Okay, thank you Amirul for the interesting presentation. Let's move to the next slide. I will present the comparative analysis which is a part of the liquidity ratio section. Comparative analysis is a comparison between two companies which are Grand Central Enterprise Berhad and Shangri-La Hotel for the year 2024. For the comparison of current ratio, we take current asset divided by current liabilities. In 2024, Grand Central Enterprise Berhad recorded 11.73 and Shangri-La Hotel recorded 0.775. This shows that Grand Central Enterprise Berhad has a higher current ratio than Shangri-La Hotel. For the comparison of quick ratio, we take current asset minus inventory, then divide by current liabilities. In 2024, Grand Central Enterprise Berhad recorded 11.59 and Shangri-La Hotel recorded 0.74. Again, Grand Central Enterprise has a higher quick ratio than Shangri-La Hotel. Lastly, the comparison of net working capital is current assets minus current liabilities. In 2034, Grand Central Enterprise Berhad had a positive amount of 42,151,195 ringgit, while Shangri-La Hotel had a negative 90,236,000 ringgit. This shows that Shangri-La Hotel has more liabilities than current asset. And this is the graph for the comparative analysis of liquidity ratio. You can see that Grand Central Enterprise recorded high current ratio, quick ratio, and net working capital compared to Shangri-La Hotel. I will pass the presentation to Nakib.
This section presents a comparative analysis of activity ratio for Grand Hotel, Central, Enterprise Berhad and Shangri-La Hotels Malaysia Berhad for the years 2024. This ratio provides insight into the company's operational efficiency and how well they utilize their assets. Based on the graph given, the first point is a total assets turnover. For the Grand Central Enterprise is 0.20 times and Shangri-La Hotel is 0.41 times. Shangri-La Hotel demonstrates superior efficiency and utilizing its total asset base to generate revenue, nearly doubling Grand Central performance in this area. The second one is account receivable turnover. For the Grand Central is 30.65 times and for Shangri-La Hotel is 35.41 times. While both companies show strong receivable management, Shangri-La was slightly more efficient, leading to quicker cash inflow and reduced credit risk. The third one is average collection period. Grand Central has shown 11.91 days. Meanwhile, for the Shangri-La Hotel, 10.31 days. Both companies maintain effective credit control, but Shangri-La Hotel collect receivable faster, supporting better liquidity management. The fourth point is, based on the graph, inventory turnover. For the Grand Central, is 5.87 times. Meanwhile, for Shangri-La Hotel, is 63.64 times. Shangri-La show significantly greater efficiency in managing inventory, suggesting lean stock level and fast inventory movement. The last one is a fixed asset turnover. For the Grand Central, 0.20 times, and for Shangri-La Hotel is 0.52 times. Shangri-La outperformed in converting fixed asset into revenue, indicating stronger operational productivity. That's all from my part.
Now let's compare the debt ratio between Grand Central Enterprise Berhad and Shangri-La Hotel Malaysia Berhad for the year 2023 to 2024. Firstly, Grand Central recorded a very low debt ratio of 4.14%, while Shangri-La Hotel had a much higher debt ratio of 40.4%. This shows that Grand Central relies very little on debt to finance its asset, indicating low financial risk. On the other hand, Shangri-La used more debt but still within a moderate level, which helps support business growth. Secondly, for the debt equity ratio, Grand Central ratio in only 4.35% compared to Shangri-La 67.8%. This means Grand Central has a very conservative capital structure with more equity than debt, while Shangri-La is more leveraged, using a large portion of the debt in its financing. Lastly, the term interest earned ratio could not be calculated for Grand Central because the company had negative EBIT and zero interest expense, indicating financial distress. In contrast, Shangri-La had a term interest earned ratio of 4.53 times, showing a strong ability to pay interest using its operating income. In summary, Grand Central is more conservative with very low debt, but Shangri-La demonstrates strong financial performance and better debt management despite using more leverage.
The next comparative analysis is profitability ratio. First is return on equity. Grand Central recorded a negative return on equity of negative 30.72%, showing losses and poor use of shareholders' equity. Shangri-La had a positive return on equity of 3.75%, indicating it generates profit and use equity efficiently. Next is return on asset. Grand Central return on asset was negative 30.06%, meaning it failed to generate income from its asset. Shangri-La return on asset was 2.24%, showing better asset utilization. Next is gross profit margin. Grand Central had a high gross margin of 84.84%, likely due to low revenue rather than strong performance. Shangri-La gross margin of 57.68% reflects solid cost control in operations. Next is operating profit margin. Grand Central show a negative margin of negative 17.52%, meaning high operating costs led to losses. Shangri-La had a positive margin of 30.52%, showing a good operation efficiently. And lastly is net profit margin. Grand Central net margin was negative 86.28%, showing several overall losses. Shangri-La margin of 5.46% indicate a return of profitability and better cost management. Next is operating profit margin. To calculate operating profit margin is operating profit divided sales and multiply 100. In 2023, operating profit is RM 68419 divided to RM 503759 and multiply 100, and it produced 30.58%. In 2024, operating profit is RM 73391 divided to RM 530303 and multiply 100, and it produced 30.52%. Operating profit margin remains stable. Although the changes is small, it reflects the company consistent operating efficiency and its ability to control operating expenses. The last one is net profit margin. To calculate net profit margin is net income divided sales and multiply 100. In 2023, net income is RM 16020 divided RM 503759 and multiply 100 and produce 3.18%. In 2024, net income is RM 29251 divided RM 535303 and multiply 100 and it produces 5.46%. It shows a significant improvement. I pass to the next presenter.
Now I will present the conclusion of the assignment. Firstly, Grand Central Enterprise Berhad. Grand Central Enterprise Berhad have high liquidity with strong current and quick ratios, but suffer major losses. Its net profit margin was negative 86.28%, showing it could not turn revenue into profit. Even though it has low debt and low financial risk, Grand Central Enterprise is inefficient in using its assets, and its high liquidity may reflect idle or underused resources. Shangri-La Hotel, on the other hand, showed a strong financial recovery. Despite having tight liquidity, it achieved a solid profitability, a net profit margin of 5.46%, a return on equity of 3.75%, and a return of asset of 2.24%. Equity ratios reflect excellent assets and inventory management, even with higher debt level. Its strong time interest earned ratio of 4.53 shows it can comfortably meet debt obligation. In short, Grand Central Enterprise need to improve efficiency and revenue generation to match its liquidity strength. Shangri-La is in a strong financial position overall, showing better strategy, profitability, and growth potential. Grand Central Enterprise teach us the importance of financial projects, while Shangri-La Hotel highlight the value of strategic execution and resilience.